We are going to begin this second session for webinar 2 about BioStar 2. It's a beginner session. We will go inside some easy stuff. My name is Cyril AUDIAU. I am in charge of technical support for European and North African market. I have joined Suprema in last November, and my first meeting was in SGPP last year, so it was really fun to meet some of you, I guess. We are going to begin this webinar now. So today we are going to see different parts of BioStar 2. I will present you the webinar goal before BioStar 2 software, how to install BioStar 2 with MariaDB, which is the more common version, MySQL, MS SQL from Microsoft also. I will make a quick tour on simple feature from BioStar 2, settings, users, device. And after we will have a short session for your questions, and we will answer you through the webinar chat or directly with my voice or voice from my colleagues. We are already there. But first, we are going to, I'm not sure everyone know who is Suprema. So Suprema is a company which is 20 years old now, young lady still. We are proud in biometrics. It's our first knowledge. And we provide products for everyone on security, on identity solution, also for mobile also. As you can see, we have different type of reader in our company for biometrics, so fingerprint on face. We already have RFID reader also, and door controller. As you know, our way of working is an end-to-end solution. We try to give you all you need from network peripheral, time attendance, access control, software, mobile credential, edge reader, and access controller, door controller. And you know, we make a lot about security in Suprema. We will provide you everything you need from user management and fingerprint template, face template, which are pretty good. We made encryption from reader to database, and we will do more and more encryption for database on the next version of BioStar. We made also access encrypted between server and the web client. So we are proud to be really near to GDPR compliance, and we will be more easy for us, more and more easy for us to be compliant. We do not forget that we have also multi-finger reader for governmental use, and we use web design also for our apps. So let me speak about our goal from this webinar. This webinar is designed to answer short questions, which is what it is, how it works, and how we can use it. Then we go on how to set up it without any issue for more common database. So MariaDB, which is default one, on Microsoft SQL also. And then we will discover the main simple feature, like how to get a license in BioStar 2, how to get a reader, user, and some stuff. So now we are going to speak about BioStar 2 software. So as you know, BioStar 2 software is a web-based software. It means that we will be able to get you functionality about access control, but also about time attendance. And this software is going to be able to manage every product from Suprema, from biometric readers to RFID, access control, door controllers, and our small product, which is SIO2, OM120, and DM20. We can also manage all the type of system, from centralized with a core station, for example, and for distributed system, or for both of them on the same appliance. It's really simple to do distributed system for specific floor on the building, and for main doors you can use centralized system, but it will run under the same software. And how it was made, it was using Java runtime, database, and then BioStar 2 is connected to both of them. And you only need a web browser to be able to discuss with BioStar 2 apps. You do not need to add a huge appliance on your computer, on each computer. You only need one on server to manage everything. And how could you use BioStar 2? There is so many cases. First one, as a main system. In this case, you are going to do everything inside. User management, device, door management, zone configuration, time attendance, everything will be inside, logs, everything. You can choose to have it only as an engine for your own appliance. In this case, you are going to have less things inside. You are only going to take care of user management, device, log management, and all the other stuff will be done on your own appliance, thanks to BioStar 2 API. You can use it also as a middleware for third-party access control. In this case, you will only manage user management and device. The rest of product will be done by the third part. And sometimes, for lots of our partners, they use BioStar 2 as only a setup tool. And in this case, they only manage device, and then everything will be done thanks to the Device SDK. Now, license. As you know, we have different type of license. One is free for 5 doors. With basic one, you get 20 doors. With standard one, 50. But you get also a zone alarm and a cloud connection. Since you go in advanced version, you will get 100 doors, but you get also elevators control and monitoring graphic map. And professional and enterprise, it's only a difference between the number of doors, 300 and 1,000. As you can see, we have also license for time and attendance management, for video log, which allow you to connect a milestone, for example, and visitor management. It's a really started product, so you will be able to manage some visitor, but it's really a simple way of managing visitors. After this license, we need to speak about our requirement for systems. As you can see, we are not going to need so much because we are working with we are a good using of CPU and memory usage. And also for system requirement for clients, it will less and less requirement because it's only web design. So you have only to have a browser on your computer, and you can see everything from BioStar and manage it, and manage everything. As you can see, since the latest version from BioStar, we are able to manage MS SQL Server 2017. Here is a list of BioStar 2 POR, which we are going to use from MariaDB for MS SQL, for TNA, for WebSocket. It will allow you to better see how to integrate our software in your IT system. Now, a frequent question could be how to choose between MariaDB and Microsoft SQL. It will depend on you guys. If it's a simple system which will run on its own, you can use default database because it's an open source solution, so no needs to license. It's really easy to use. You have only on BioStar to set up, you have only to click. But if you already manage a Microsoft SQL database, it will be more convenient for you or for your customer to use it. And also you will have better support from Microsoft. But you will need more technical knowledge about it. You can see here where you can find all information from BioStar 2. From the help menu from BioStar 2, I will show you in the end of this webinar. From our knowledge base, from our support web page, from manual and driver, brochure, everything is on our website. Now, how to install with MariaDB? First, always download BioStar version from our website. It's really a good way of getting the latest version on a security version. Here is a little video which I'm going to comment. So guys, do not forget this password. It will be the first one on BioStar 2. And be sure to make a strong password. For root, it's the same. It's the main password for accessing database. So please make a strong password and do not forget it. I choose to install everything on the computer from whole package of BioStar 2, but also USB agent to allow BioMini Plus on DE 620 reader on the same computer. It's a quick install for MariaDB. It's around 15 minutes, but I have to quick it, so it's going a little bit more faster. And as you can see, I run it on an emulation VMware, this software. So it's not a trouble to run it on VMware software or other systems. Now it's going to install USB device agent, which allows you to get a USB reader for card and finger. And then I will install all the driver. And that's it. It's done. Now we are going to launch BioStar 2 web page. First step, you see you are non-secure connectivity. You do not have import certificate, so we are going to do it. You have only to click on download HTTPS certification. Do not forget to, every time you run it as administrator, you will need to type the IP address of the server. Click on Roll, it will create certificate. And since we are going to start again BioStar Google Chrome, which is the web browser we recommend to use, you will see we are secure. Now I'm going to get inside with the admin password I have created during the setup. And we are inside. And we can see that we have already one user inside for the admin one. As you can see, it was really simple with MariaDB. Default installation is click, click, click. For Microsoft SQL, it will be a little bit more longer because you have to first download BioStar 2 from our website, download MS SQL Express 2017 if you want from Microsoft. Do not hesitate to see our new feature for BioStar 2, 7, and 14, which allow you to be able to use Windows authentication or MS SQL database authentication. You can have the choice between the two methods. So we are going first to install SQL Server. Is going to check if there is some updates from Microsoft Server. As you can see, you have lots of things. We can disable machine learning services, which we are not going to use. We recommend you to change the instance for SQL Server for BioStar. It will be more simple when you want to understand what is running on your computer. So by default, we suggest you to use Suprema. And this is where you can choose between authentication mode for SQL or mixed mode, SQL authentication. You have only to set up a password. If you do so, do not forget to have a strong password and do not forget it. Now we are going to use Microsoft Management Console. It will allow us to say how you want to connect to the database. So by default, we recommend to say all interface will be connected on the same port. We need to restart services. To get everything inside and getting the port we have defined working. Now we are going to get Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio, so we are going to install it first. It's more long process for BioStar with Microsoft SQL. You will need like 40, 45, 50 minutes to do it. So it's a little bit more longer because you have first to set up everything from Microsoft and then install BioStar. Now we are running Smart Management. We are going to connect to the database. And we choose to use SQL Server authentication in our case. Now we are going to create the database needed by BioStar 2. So we create one for access control. One for time attendance, and also one for VE. You can choose the name of the database if you want to have something more clear for you. You have only to do not forget the name you have choose. Then we are going to create a user, which is being the owner of the database on the user connection. for the database from BioStar 2 software. I make it in different steps to show everything. So server rules first as a sysadmin for this user. Then I go back on the same web page, go to user mapping, and say these three database, we are the DB owner. And that's it. We have set up now Microsoft SQL. We are going to run the setup tool for BioStar 2, like we have done before, but with a little bit different. So we have to choose an admin password. Do not forget it and make it strong enough. But we are going to say custom installation to be able to choose everything we want. So you can see this button, which is going to allow you to click on MySQL, what you need. I will show you after. So IP address. So here, if you want to change from MySQL or Windows authentication, you have only to click here. So we are typing the name of each database we have created. So if you change the name, you do not forget to type the right name. Then we will type the username and password for each database. So if you want to create one user per database, you can, but it will be more simple to have only one for all the database. Then also I choose to install everything. From now, it's going to take the same time as for MariaDB install. Since we have done everything, now we are going to connect for the first time to BioStar 2. We need to do the same, so we will download the certification for HTTPS. Run it as administrator, always. Enroll the IP address from the server. And now we are going to be able to connect without any issue in Chrome browser. Here we are connected. So now I'm going to make a quick tour on simple feature for BioStar 2. I will use our own server, which is working on our office near Paris. On this office, we have stocks and we have office room, and we have also made an alarm system with a core station. So we are on our own server. As you can see, we have already some users, some fingerprint, no face, some cards also, device, and doors. Each number you see is regarding our license. So first, let me show you in settings. So in settings, you can do lots of things. We will go more deeper in other webinar from ATEM, from Middle East, and from me in the next week, and in May, I guess, for ATEM. We have different things we can do. You can see we have mobile credential, cloud access, security, Active Directory connection, visitors, everything. In account, which could be a good thing, you can have only one BioStar for many users in the same building. You have one administrator, which is the owner of the building, and each company could have its own administrator. You have only to create a custom level of administrator, which is going to be able to see only his user and his reader. He can do everything he wants on his product, but on all the product from all the main doors, the main entrance, elevators, he would not be able to make some change on product. He could only say, okay, these people is going to be able to use the main door. Okay, so it's really useful to be able to do it. Other setting I can show you now, it's about our server. You will be able to set, I want only to use one card from my server to be connected with web access. So for example, we have two network cards, one for internet access and one for LAN network. We can choose to only allow BioStar to be seen by the LAN network. We can choose how to connect. We recommend to always use HTTPS. As you can see, we have a menu for fingerprint template because we are not so many to be able to manage Suprema template, ISO template, or NC template. You have to choose it at the beginning. Also, you can change the user ID to alphanumerics. It's mandatory if you want to connect BioStar to your Active Directory. Also, you will see that you can decide to have one physical device which is only used for enrollment. You can also get some custom user file. You can set it up if you want to be compliant with RGPD. If you do not want to have personal data inside your database, and you write everything on the card. And then here you have to set up the license. So you have only to give a name to this license to be able to remember which license is where. You will be able to type the activation key you receive from us and then click on activate. If you do not have internet access on BioStar 2 server due to some local rules, you can request an offline key. You send the file and we give us and return how to activate it. And you will see at the both of you of these settings that you can allow more details in our system. So by default, we do not want to have so much, but if you want to be more able to give us to get more support from us, it will be fine to get errors and warning on separate parts. And for me, it was all the thing I want to show you at the moment on settings. Now on user, it's really simple. I want to add a group user. I have only to right-click on the name of all the user, click Add User Group, give a name, and that's it. And if I want to have a sub-user group, I only have to click on the user group I want and say Add User Group. It's the same, and I can say it's here Suprema company, here Mocha company, and then R&D team, sales team, etc., etc. It's really simple to get people inside. And then what you have to do is to create a user for test webinar, for example. Oops. You will give him an ID, an email, a phone number if you want. You can say it's a part of a demo room, for example. We can say it's active or not active. You can give him access to BioStar 2 or not. It's up to you. It depends of what you want or what you allow them to do. You can choose to add directly the access group if you have already done everything. So I want to give him access the same rules as all people which is in demo room. And I can say, okay, he can connect to BioStar 2, but only from this computer, which is a fixed one. So we can restrict user to use only this computer. To have a PIN code, it's also really simple. You have only to click on PIN, type the PIN, type again the PIN, and that's it. And it will be the same for fingerprint, face, card, mobile credential, everything. I will delete one device to see how it works when we want to find to add a new device. Yeah, yes, but I have made doors already. So when you want to see a new device, you have only to click on search device. He will try to find new device he do not have already get inside the systems. With IP address, you can be able to change his IP address. And you can then add them. You have set IP address from here. You can add device here. And if you do not find it because on your network you have disabled UDP search of to restrict network, you can choose advanced search and say, okay, the device is 192.168.2.1.8, and that's it. You click and you add it inside. And it will be the same if you want to add some slave device to a core station, for example. You have only to click on search slave device. And if there is some slave device available, it will add it directly. As you can see, by default, it will display an icon for the device, the name of the product, and its serial number. If you want to change it, it's really easy. You have only to click on it. And you can change here the name of the device, FS2 Tomorrow with face on card firmware. You can choose his local time also. You can set up a static IP address. You can say, I want this device to connect directly to the server by its own. So if it's not in the same office, it will go through the network and go connected to BioStar. We recommend to use this feature, device to server, from 40 device. It will be really mandatory. But most of the time is really nice to set it up. Then you can say, okay, I will have some slave device. For example, I will have secure IO behind the face station to manage IO input on door relay. You can change the authentication mode. So face only, face on card, face card pin, and you can say it's not always, but from for end of weekend, for weekend, we will always see face card pin code. Office hour, it's only face. Out office hour, it will be face on pin, for example. You can choose everything you want. And then you have layer for layout for smart card, which one you want to create it. And you have also advanced feature, like it's a FS2, so you can have an interphone mode with a SIP line, so to a SIP server inside your network, or a SIP line connected to internet if reader have access to internet. And you have the secure tamper, which is going to allow you to automatically delete everything inside if someone is trying to stall the product or to try to get access to everything behind the reader. And for door, it will be the same. You want to add the groups, you have only to right click here or where you want and give a name. And if you want to create a door, I have created this one a few minutes ago. It's from demo room groups. It's a face station. I have one relay, one exit button, one door sensor. And I say, okay, that's it. If you want to get fever detection and get warning in that case, you will need to use some feature which is included in doors, which is here. You have to set up here. we can show you, excuse me, we can show you how to do it if needed. It will be the same for elevators, zone. I will show you only zone alarm because it's something it's not really useful. You can see that we have two alarm zone, one for stock, which is ARM actually, and one for our office, which is stop because I am inside. So we are going to use a core station to make both access control and alarm intrusion zone. Then you can define rules for your access control. So you can make access group, access level, from time to time say who is inside. It could be a user, but it could be a user group. Here you have only user, but I can say, okay, I want to have all these new user group here inside it, and I have only to say, okay, and that's it. It's done. It's synchronized with all the devices on the network. Then on the last point, you will see that we have a monitoring, which will be really fine for you to understand what's happened on your site. One specific part should be real-time log when you are going to make some tests to see why it does not works for this reader or for this card. Okay, I check. Okay, I've tried this card. Okay, invalid access group. So I have to change something in my access control groups. It will really be helpful for you. Also, you will be able to have a device status, door status, everything. It will say, okay, everything is normal, but I have one reader which is disconnected. It's normal. This one is on my home office, actually, for some testing. And that's it. We have done the BioStar 2 quick tour, and we are going to come back to our question and answer. So with this quick tour, we see settings, license, add a device, add a device group, add user, add a user group, add a door, and add access rule. Hope it was clear for everyone. Feel free to ask your question. And I am going to send it to you, our polling for feedback. So please take time to answer it. This is the first one, and I have a second one to launch after. So if needed, I can show you different parts on BioStar 2. Someone is requesting to see interlock zone. So it's the same. If you want to create an interlock zone, you have to say, okay, add a zone, interlock, apply. You will have to give a name, test, for example. You have to set up then what you want to. Yep, I will put it here. And you will have to choose everything and click on apply, and it will be done. It's really simple to do it. So I see some question about MS SQL and setting up a free database. Yes, it's mandatory to have a free separate database for legacy reasons, because on some countries you need to separate access control database from TNA database. So it's why we always made a separate database. Is there any question I can show you from BioStar 2? I see there is some question about how we can manage to control, to manage other reader with BioStar 2. We can do it if we connect it through big and output from a core station or from readers. But also we can connect it to through OSDP if there is compliant with it. So we can connect it with OSDP to a reader or to one of our core station or product. If we want to add a vegan line to a core station, it's really simple. We have only to say add vegan device and choose which line is connected to the reader. So for example, our reader is connected to the port 0 from the core station. We have to set up it here, and then we have to create a card format to say, okay, this reader is sending something in 26 byte, for example, and that's it. We will make an email on a fresh desk support article about these two sessions with a PDF file from PPTX files and also video from what I have shown to everyone. What elevator? You can manage every elevator you want. It's we are using dry contact, so you will have a single card with 12 relay, which has allow you to be between the button wiring inside the elevator. So it's really simple to add it. Everyone has make a reply to the feedback on the first feedback. If you can answer everyone could answer, it will be helpful for us to better see what you need. And I need only to understand when you say, how can we make configuration a server in a remote location? If you think about a server in a data center, you can add it. and then you are going to use the IP public address from the server to connect all the device to it, thanks to device to server mode. If it's not this case you were thinking about, please make a new message. For visitor, we are going to show it in another webinar. It's really a simple feature we get inside BioStar, actually. Okay. I'm going to close the first feedback comment now and open the second one. If you please, could you rate it? It will be really helpful for us. Yes, so Francisco, if this is this case, you can use device to server connection, but you need to have a static public IP address or VPN connection between our local network and your BioStar server. In France, we have some partner which is using one server to manage one reader on each customer. Is there any other question? Yes, it is possible to give a signal open contact to open all the doors. It's a zone feature, which is fire alarm, which we are going to set it up, and then it will go through every reader to open the doors. We have also schedule, lock and unlock, and you can say, okay, I want to unlock automatically all the doors since the first people is coming in. So we are going to wait since 8 o'clock, for example, that someone push his card on the reader or his finger or his face, then everything will be open because this guy is coming for the first time and it's the way to open. So if you have a site where you have some people which is used to come every day, but the first one will have only to check to open everything. It will be really useful in actual situation because you do not have to manage a new way of schedule due to COVID or due to a specific time. How to connect to cloud? It's really simple for that because it's embedded feature from BioStar 2. So you will have only in settings. Let me show you in cloud here. You see, I am already using cloud use. And it allowed me to connect with the remote app from my cell phone to see everything inside. and I have password and access everything, and I can say, okay, I will release the door because you guys, you need to enter, and I am not arrived at that time. You have only to create here a subdomain name, an email address for it, and that's it. It will go, you click apply, you will receive an email, you have to click on the email, and it will run. But do not forget, you need to be connected really often, because after 7 days of no connection from your cloud server, you will disconnect the subdomain. If you need some support, feel free to use our Fresh Desk. It will be more convenient for everyone, for me and for my colleagues, because we can share every ticket you ask, you give us to us. So feel free to go on Fresh Desk at Suprema, and you will be able to create a ticket, and it will be assigned to me if it's on my region, or to my colleagues. It's always the best way to get support from Suprema. So if everyone has make some rate on the second poll, I will close this one also. Okay. So thank you for your times. If you need, we can answer a little bit more question, but if everyone is ready, we can close it. Let me know. So thank you for all your questions. I hope we have answered all we can.